Today's show about luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. Turns out your quote-unquote made in Italy luxury handbag might have more ties to Chinese factories than to Tuscany. Thanks to viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy.
Price $23,000, but Guangzhou price $600.
We've all seen it. That Birkin bag flexed like a trophy by celebs, billionaires, and the ultra-rich. It's not just a purse, it's a straight-up status symbol.
Nice this style, this bag. Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been the OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world. Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis.
Can nicely style this bag. Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been. We are in fact read from most of the luxury brands around the world. Gucci Club, our coach with a price tag hovering around $40,000. If you're lucky enough to even score one, it's sold as the holy grail of luxury. Hermès has painted the picture, handcrafted by expert artisans under the warm sun tucked away in the elite corners of France.
At Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today I'm going to break it down in front of you step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy. The second is Weinheim from Germany, and the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450.
That's Hermes Boutique, will cost you 38,000 USD. What is the real cost out of the factory? Today I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermes. Only use the letters from the 3 top-level suppliers. But what if I told you that this so-called pinnacle of fashion might not be what it seems? Boom. A viral video just flipped the whole luxury game upside down. The truth behind those elite bags way messier than the glossy ads and glam red carpet shots that Birkin, the one hyped up as the queen of all handbags, might not be handcrafted in dreamy Paris. After all, where it is, most of it is actually being made in China. Yep, you heard right. China.
And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? And next, a thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called fil à chinois from France. This is actually
That symbol of classic French craftsmanship could actually be coming out of Chinese factories, built for a fraction of the cost. Then they get shipped off to Europe, slapped with a Made in France label, and tossed on shelves for tens of thousands of dollars. The internet exploded with this expose, leaving fashion lovers everywhere asking if it's made in China. Why are we paying like it's dipped in gold? And even bigger, Wise May has been keeping this hush-hush for so long. The whole thing blew up thanks to a whistleblower video from inside a Chinese manufacturer. Apparently the dude had enough of the brand's claims and decided to air it all out. He says that even the materials Mace brags about, the leather, the thread, the fancy hardware, ain't as special or exclusive as they want us to believe. According to him, those parts are pulled from different suppliers around the world, then thrown together in China, all for cheap.
In thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil.
So let's talk about the leather in the Birkin bag next, because that's where things get real interesting. Hermes has been bragging for years that it only uses the finest leather from top-tier spots in Italy, France, and Germany, like MTI in Italy, Vinheimer in Germany, and some mystery supplier in France. Each leather piece around $450 a pop. Sounds super fancy, right? But here's the real twist. While the leather itself is legit, high quality, it's not being shaped and crafted by some elite French artisan in a candle-lit Parisian workshop. Let's be real. A cow is a cow, no matter where it grazes. And now Chinese manufacturers are claiming that the leather is shipped straight from those same premium suppliers. But the actual bags, they're being assembled in China. That's right. stitched, shaped, and finished in factories far away from Europe's so-called luxury hubs.
It's called heat seal edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. And the zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost of human resource. The French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans to finish one bag.
Now check this out. The thread that holds these bags together is called Fil Oceania, a French-made premium thread that costs around $25 per bag. It's hyped up as super durable and luxe, and the hardware straight up. Ocean grade 316 stainless steel. Seriously, this stuff doesn't rust and it looks icy clean. No one's saying the materials are trash. They're definitely premium. But here's where it gets wild. All these top-notch materials are being put together in Chinese factories, not French. Ateliers like Hermès wants everyone to think,
The human resource cost will be 600 USD. Package, now this is not that expensive, it's 10 USD. So now to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory.
the guy who exposed it in that viral video said it plain and clear. While Hermès keeps marketing the Birkin like it's hand-stitched in the heart of Paris, most of the work is actually happening thousands of miles away and people online losing their minds. Social media is blowing up with folks calling it out, saying they feel totally played. Imagine dropping $40,000 thinking you're getting handcrafted French luxury, only to find out it might have come off a Chinese assembly line. Some are flat out furious, saying Hermès has been deceiving everyone for years. Others are brushing it off, calling the whole thing fake and blaming the Chinese for stirring drama. But with all this noise, it's getting harder to know who's really telling the truth. But here's where it gets dicey. Some folks say it ain't even about the bag itself, but the name on it.
Why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same edge oil.
And that's where things start to spark debate. If you can cop the same exact bag made in China for way less, then what are people really dropping all that cash for? Starts to feel like they're paying for the vibe, not the craftsmanship. It's less about the leather and more about that logo screaming status. And it's not just random folks online getting heated. Fashion insiders and industry experts started jumping into the mix too. Some are still backing Hermès, saying even if the bags are built in China, the brand still brings top-tier quality and elite-level craftsmanship. But others, they're not buying it anymore. They're calling it out, saying the luxury industry needs a serious shakeup. They pointed out how brands like Hermès and Louis Vuitton love to flash that exclusive French elegance image. But behind the scenes,
The difference is one, we don't have the logo, so we don't have to pay so much amount of money just for that logo. And second, our human resource is much cheaper. This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD, but even better.
a lot of that production is happening in places with way lower labor costs. And let's be honest, it's starting to feel kind of shady. But wait, it gets even messier. Hermès isn't the only name caught up in this. Big labels like Gucci, Prada, and even Louis Vuitton are being called out for having a chunk of their production done in China.
Brands around the world, Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton, you name it. But for this, I am not proud because we were only making
And here's the real bombshell. Some reports say that over 80% of luxury goods are actually coming from China. Yeah, let that sink in. But the wild part, these brands aren't exactly putting that in bold print. All of this basically flips the whole luxury fashion game on its head. Made in France or made in Italy used to mean something major. It was a seal of craftsmanship, prestige, history. But now it kind of feels like a slick marketing move more than anything real. And don't get it twisted. The bags are still made. Well, nobody's saying they're falling apart, but it's kind of wild that these massive brands built their whole image on old-world artisan heritage, when in reality, a lot of that magic is happening in factories across the globe.
Knowing that Chanel will hate me if I tell you this, revealing the secret behind big brand. Let's go! Hang Long from Singapore, or Birkins for their lambskin from France. Tannery Haas, Italian Tannery, Fight. Labri Tecna from Italy. Guess where I found all those secret suppliers? All in 8.
So, what does that mean for their billion-dollar image? That's the big question. And now the pressure's on. People aren't just sipping the Kool-Aid anymore. They want answers. Some even want their money back.
Because Hermes clearly purports that all of their bags are handmade in France and their watches are made in Switzerland.
Because if you're spending thousands on a so-called luxury bag, shouldn't you know exactly what you're paying for? Real craftsmanship, or just a logo stitched in a factory like everything else? And that's the thing. Brands like Hermes are seriously getting put on blast. This ain't just some tiny slip-up or random online rumor. This feels major, like the entire luxury game is shifting. People are waking up and starting to ask the big question, what does luxury even mean anymore? Because let's be real, in 2025, that word doesn't hit like it used to. Folks aren't just blindly accepting those sky-high price tags anymore. They want the receipts, they're demanding proof. And when brands go quiet, oh, best believe the internet gets louder. Comment sections are going off, hashtags are trending, and Irma's not a single word. No statement, no PR spin. Not even one of those vague, we value our customers' posts. Just straight up crickets. It's like they're crossing their fingers, hoping this whole storm just blows over. But while they're staying silent, some other brands are stepping up to deny the rumors. NBC News even reported that a few companies are already pushing back on the claims.
There is no room for confusion about where their products are manufactured. There's no room for China. But in the beginning of that video, that nice Chinese man is clearly standing in front of what appear to be Hermes bags, saying,
Meanwhile, companies like Louis Vuitton are being super upfront about their production practices. You can actually go on their website and see where and how their stuff is made. And let's not forget some of the viral TikToks that helped stir this drama have been fact-checked and called out for being misleading. It's a messy situation. Conrad Quilty Harper, the guy behind Dark Luxury, told The Independent that folks are mixing up sketchy knockoff factories with legit production spots in China. He explained that these real factories know exact how to play the social media game, and they're slick at making Western shoppers fall in love with their version of luxury. Even France 24 looked into it and shared similar thoughts. Some of the claims are fuzzy, but the impact, oh, it's real. True or not, the whole mess has already shaken how people view these big-name brands. And now tons of folks online are done. They're ditching the hype and calling for a major wake-up in the luxury space. But the silence from Hermes, that's what's screaming the loudest right now in a world where silence feels like guilt. People are left wondering, what are they really hiding?
are the bags that we manufacture. I noticed he didn't say Hermes when he called out all the brands like Prada, Louis Vuitton, Coach. But the implication was very clearly there. And if Hermes products, specifically their bags, are made from beginning to end in France.
With all these viral clips spreading like wildfire, it wouldn't be shocking if Hermes decides to quietly pull the plug on some Birkin models. If the rumors about where these bags are really being made turn out to be legit, halting production could be their way of trying to save face, especially with the brand's reputation now hanging by a thread. And if that happens, folks who already dropped major cash for deposits or joined those infamous wait lists, they could be stuck waiting even longer. This ain't new territory either. Hermes has faced heat in the past. Lawsuits and insider reports have already hinted at shady practices, messing with how they fulfill orders. Like that lawsuit in California. It claimed Hermes was forcing customers to buy other pricey stuffed scarves, jewelry, just to even qualify for a shot at buying a Birkin. On top of that, people have been left on wait lists for months, even years, without any real promise they'd ever get the bag. So now, if all this noise about the Birkin's origins turns out to be true, Hermes might have no choice but to pause production to clean up the mess.
With their valuation drop with the news that Chinese manufacturers are spilling the tea. It says right here on their website, the vast majority of our products are manufactured in France. And they talk about sourcing cashmere from Mongolia, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely nothing about China. And those purses that man was standing in front of were identical to Hermes bags, correct? So does that mean Hermes is lying?
And let's be real, customers won't wait forever. It won't take long before they start asking for refunds or threatening legal action, especially in places where truth in labeling laws are strict. Selling something as made in France when it ain't, that's false advertising. And if a court sees it that way, boom, fraud. We're talking millions of dollars at risk. Hermes could be staring down a legal disaster. And don't even get started on the resale market. It's a mess right now. Sellers are panicking, trying to dump their bargains before prices drop. Meanwhile, others are clutching their bags, hoping this all blows over and the value bounces back. But here's the wild part. Authentication platforms are in a tight spot too. If a Birkin was stitched together in China but labeled French, how can anyone really verify where it came from? What exactly are they authenticating? It's like the whole luxury resale game just got flipped upside down. And collectors, they're sweating because if no one knows what's real anymore, then what's left of the high-end status game? Yup, people are out here feeling straight up played. And while Hermes is under fire, their competitors, they're sitting back watching the chaos unfold. Some are smirking, loving the drama, while others are sweating hard. Because if Hermès can get exposed like this, who's next? How long before another so-called exclusive French fashion house gets outed for shipping work overseas while still charging luxury-level prices? But here's the kicker. People might have been cool with it if Hermes had just kept it real. Like if they came out and said, yeah, we source top-tier materials from around the world and use international production, but we hold it to the highest standard. Maybe the fallout wouldn't be so savage. Instead, they doubled down on the fantasy, the whole handcrafted in Paris fairy tale. And now the mask is slipping and it ain't going back on. So what now? The trust. Gone. And in the luxury game, trust is the brand. Once that trust cracks, the whole empire starts wobbling. Now customers are second-guessing everything. Fashion influencers who used to flex their Birkins like trophies, now they're dragging them into talks with titles like I spent $30,000 on a lie and they're going viral.
With the manufacturers identified in the online videos, and we urge consumers to be aware of potentially counterfeit products and misinformation. Authentic Lululemon products are only available for purchase at our Lululemon.
But this ain't just backlash. It's a full-blown reckoning. Hermes is standing at a serious crossroads right now. Either they come clean, rebuild the trust, and show people what modern luxury really looks like, or they keep clinging to that outdated image and slowly fade into irrelevance. Because let's be honest, in today's world, luxury ain't just about the product anymore. It's about the story.
The company has long maintained its products are made only in Europe and the United States, as it currently states on its website.
And right now, that story is looking real messy. And here's an interesting twist. These rumors and exposés started picking up major steam right after President Trump announced a 90-day pause on certain global tariffs, while also hitting Chinese imports with a jaw-dropping 145% tax hike. The timing is kind of wild. Makes you wonder just how deep this whole thing really goes. A lot of TikTok users are fully buying into the claims, swearing up and down that these viral videos are the real deal.
Against China add up to 145%. That is including the existing 20% tariffs that will.
But now there's another theory floating around. Some folks think the Chinese government might be boosting these posts through the algorithm as payback for President Trump's new tariff moves. Wild right. Whether that's true or not, one thing's for sure, it's a disaster for any luxury brand caught in the middle of this mess. Still, maybe this is the shakeup the industry needed. Maybe it's finally time for real craftsmanship, honest sourcing, and true transparency to take center stage. So, yeah, whether you're your team, it's all about the craftsmanship or team. We've been straight up bamboozled. This Birkin bombshell has the whole internet questioning what luxury even means in 2025. Is it about where it's made, how it's made, or just the story? They sell us with a smile and a $40,000 price tag. Either way, this drama just dropped a cold dose of reality on the luxury world. And something tells me this conversation is far from over. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you on? I'll catch you in the next one.